Welcome to the studio. Before I dive into walking through each part of the space, I just wanted to give a little bit of preference or context into just like this space in general. So this space I've used a lot, I filmed here and there, but before I made it into what it is today, it was essentially made by the previous owners of this home where I guess one of the people, he was an avid woodworker. So this space really was a woodworking space, specifically for like larger, like machinery and tools and those of the like. I think at one point there was an air filter hanging down from the ceiling and they took that air filter, that's fine. And then there's just like all this other stuff that was in here. As you can see in the back, there's like the cabinet that was made, I think, from the previous owner. Just like a lot of things that were here from the previous space. And so then I came into this space and I wanted to use it specifically for wood carving, I guess woodworking, because that's what I essentially started off with. But then earlier this year, as I've been leaning into both pottery and into hand carving, I also wanted to find a space and figuring out like, okay, how can I be able to introduce pottery into my home so that I can do it more day to day. And so in this space, you will see that it is both half pottery and half woodworking, and I'll just show you what that means. This half is my woodworking / carving side. This table obviously still needs a lot of organization. And I think there's a lot of organization in general that I want to build into this space, like on the wall. Like I was thinking of having some pegboards so that I can hang up some of the tools that I have. I have these drawers here, which I'm still trying to debate whether or not I want to keep them, but they're here. They're kind of like this little, I guess, table that I put my stuff on. A lot of the work that I do mostly is using the table so that I can use the draw knife to get a lot more wood off of some of my larger hand carving pieces. But as you can see over here, this is where I have my main stump or block where I can axe out the spoons or other things that I create. This was just created. It's pretty nice. I keep this in this corner just because sometimes when I'm like axing, a lot of the pieces can fly around, and you know, if this is a half wood carving working area / half pottery area, I just have to be mindful of wood flying everywhere. So I essentially keep the two spaces away from each other just for being cautious purposes. So over here is my main throwing station. It's still a little bit work in progress. If you haven't noticed, this whole, I guess, studio space is definitely a work in progress. I'm basically using the things that I have and trying not to buy as many things and you know, creating these like weird tables that aren't really tables, but they work for now. So as you can see here too, I have these two main shelves, mostly just for storage and holding things. Right now, there's not much on it, really just holding like random accoutrements, mirror, some more like drawer stuff, and then like my bats and things, and just some other tools as well. And then of course here is the main wheel that I throw in, and this is the chair that I use as well. Actually, I use this chair, but then I have a stool. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a stool over there that I actually prefer using. Right now it's just holding the fan. But yeah, this is my main throwing corner. Okay, so I just really wanted to point this corner out just because like I wanted to share, these are some of the things that I've made. They're definitely bone dry, and so I need to figure out how to get them to the community studio that I go to get them fired, but I gotta be really careful because, like I said, they're bone dry, so they're very, very fragile right now. And of course I have my filter here to make sure that the air that is being circulated in here is nice and clean, especially just like dealing with a lot of clay and a lot of dust, and also just when I'm woodworking and there's a lot of like bits and pieces. So I have this. I don't know if this is where I want to keep it, but right now this is where I have it. So yeah. All right, so this area is, I guess, where a lot of the other side of my pottery work happens. I have a bit of a little, like what are those called? Is it like a trolley or moving shelf thing that I have that can move around, and it's just like more storage space. But this is the main table where I will have this plaster mat here that reclaims the clay. I have this bin here, which is like my pseudo sink, and I'll kind of walk through that a little bit. And then I just have a bunch of containers as well. This is currently holding some water, have my thing weight here or scale here that I can weigh clay, and then just some other stuff. Again, this is just holding some clay that I can reclaim. And then I have a drying rack. This used to be the drying rack that we had inside of my home until we got a new one. And I was like, okay, I can use this. And so when I wash all my things, I can just like put it on here and everything can properly dry. Okay, so Asian squatting here, but I wanted to show you these buckets because this is very important in how I manage my clay, how I can reclaim my clay, and I don't just like throw things out, and have some type of like water system to handle all the clay that's in this area. So like I was saying above, this is where I put my pseudo sink, where I just kind of like throw all of my dirty items, and then what I'll do is I'll go out into the area and like outside and essentially take a hose and like hose things down. This is where I throw a lot of my wet clay, meaning where when I like throw and I have like clay in my throwing bucket or in my the tray that I throw with, I'll just like throw all of that back in here so that I can reclaim this clay. This is technically a bucket for just water, where I call it my clean water. It's something that I'm like, where I kind of like wipe my hands down or wash my hands or use to like wipe things down. And then here's a bucket where I just have like dry clay. So it's just clay that I can make it harden out, and so that I can again reclaim. It's just like two separate things to reclaim. I don't know if I really need that, but so far it's working for me. But yeah, this is how I deal with how not having plumbing in this particular space. So there you have it. This is my studio space. I know there's a lot of things that I can improve on to help with the organization, but right now it's doing the job that it needs to do. And I'm probably just going to add things as I need, leading into, I guess, my tech vocabulary. This is the MVP. And so I'm able to throw, I'm able to axe out things and carve as well. So I'm able to do the things that I want to do and need to do now. And you know, as time goes, I will be able to improve the space based on just because I want to, or based on how my process evolves. So yeah, thanks for taking the time. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.